What's up? I'm going to make this pretty quick here. Episode 7, Short Story Bingo, Our Stories. This episode features Kid Kayo Fernandez, former WBU Welterweight champion and a proud father and incredible worker and someone who I have had the privilege to get to know better, and I hope that we're able to capture some of that. I know that there's going to have to be a part 2 for this, but what we were able to capture, I'm very grateful for. So we go over, of course, his boxing career and how he got into it. His dad and his grandfather were also boxers, and then going into fighting. I mean, the likes of Paulie Malignaggi, Danny Garcia. You know what? So much more to go into it. See you guys at the end. Thank you all for the new subscribes on YouTube. And I know that folks are listening on Apple Podcasts. Please leave a review. Messes the algorithm up. It doesn't know what to do when we're getting 5-star reviews and all that. And I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, episode 7, Chris Fernandez, Kid Kayo. See you guys at the end.
Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're sad. Most of the time they're funny because I hate to be sad. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. But don't take my word for it. Spare fingers. Cheers.
All right, here we go. 3, 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Short Story Bingo, special edition, Our Stories, episode 7. If this is your first time, welcome. If it's not, the retention program is working. What I do on this podcast is I interview friends of mine or folks that I don't know and hope to become friends with them at the end and learn more about their stories. With that said, I definitely want to say thank you for the love on the Rhyme Time episode. On episode 6, him and I went pretty deep about Mike Masters and the history that he had a lot of content for, because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't even remember. And so I really appreciate him for coming on. And again, we referenced the Pat Main episode, so much. So go back and take a look at that as well. But so I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers and folks that have been checking out on all the streaming platforms. I was looking the other day, and Apple is taking the cake. So for my Apple listeners, if you could take a moment, and it's free to do. It might take 30 seconds of your time, but if you could hit a review for me, if it's not 5 stars, just tell me why. That's it. But I appreciate all the help, man, because fuck the algorithm and whatever the fuck it's trying to do to the system to muddy up shit for us small town creators. They're just trying to make shit happen. So let's get back to it, man. Episode 7, we're up in the spot, ready to make it happen. I am here with good friend of mine, former WBU welterweight champion, Chris Fernandez. Chris, say hi.
What up?
What up? So the point of this, like I was just telling you before, I want to talk to you about what I remember from when we first met. And so I'm going to start there. Okay. So I first remember meeting you. I swear it had to be at 5 Monkeys. I think it was at 5 Monkeys, like between 10 to 15 years ago. For sure. It was between 10 to 15 years ago. So like between like 2009 to 2012.
Was it a concert?
Yeah, it was a show. And I remember Mike Skills or Joe Baca, one of those two, being a part of that introduction that I met you, and they explained that you were the champ, and I had no idea, like I didn't know at all. And then although I don't remember the exact like show that I met you at, I remember coming away from that initial introduction wanting to learn more about who you were. So you had a fight in 2012 against at the Sandy Expo Center, right? Or yeah, and that was to defend the title that I recall. And I remember seeing you in like the Deseret News because I started to research you. So I was like, who is this cat? And so that's what I remember from meeting you. And then fast forward to like 2017, I want to say, when I came back from Wyoming and you were training. Well, yeah, like I was looking for some training, and like our relationship wasn't. It just wasn't a lot. I mean, we spoke and because of Mike Masters, because that's when we started to really like talk more. So when I came back, I reached out to you because I wanted to train. And so I don't even know if you remember this, but when I got back from Wyoming, I was training over at Flashes for like a week.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't long. And it was then that it was more solidified for me that like, oh man, like this guy has a big heart and he fucking cares and shit, you know? And because like I said, outside of like Mike Masters, like we haven't really like interacted much, you know? And it's not that that's a bad thing or whatever. It's like we've always been cordial when we've interacted, you know? And then after that, I didn't really speak with really a lot of folks, but you in particular until I would say, what was it? I saw your car. Remember what spurred these last interactions? Like when I went over to your house to take a look at your car and everything.
Well, a lot of it started with hanging out with Mike.
That's it. There you go.
Mike's
Okay.
house.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah. So that's how our bond started to grow a lot more, you know, from my purview. But, and since then, like about the last 2 years, I would say, even though we don't talk every day, it's always been very cordial. So that's what I remember. Mm-hmm. That's a very vague timeline on what my memory is of, not vague, but high level timeline of what I remember of meeting you and up to now, like what my experience has been. You said like before we got on that you don't remember at all meeting me.
Well, if I had met you at Five Monkeys, I was probably lit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I know I used to go to a lot of those small little concerts they had there. They had a couple of rap battles, I think, there as well. I know A-Hat did a couple there. But that was a little spot over there.
Yeah. Five Monkeys was the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a ice house now.
Yeah.
What I remember that you judged some of my battles back in the day.
You had the tournament going.
Yeah. So this is 2013. That it wasn't at Five Monkeys, but like at Uprock or.
Well, they had it. There was that place on 3rd West, off of it's like 7th South.
3rd West and 7th South.
Well, that was they had the one we did. Well, where was the tournament at?
The tournament was at a couple different spots. So it was at the Project. So yes, you were right. It was on like 7th South and 3rd West, or something like that. Yeah, you're right. That's where we had at the Project. Shout out to you, Evan, and Elm Productions. Man, I can't wait to get Evan on here. That's a whole fucking episode just of the Project. Oh my God. That was such an incredible fucking facility for art maker or creatives. Anyway, so that's where we had that. And then we also had it at, we finished it at Uprock, the new Uprock location off of 16th and State.
We had a couple battles there.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of all that, I saw you in October. You came out to the first event that we had back, and you had on your Young Rip shirt. And I didn't ask you that then, but like, where did you get that? Did you make that or what?
No. Right after he passed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was an AHAT event that happened. Who was it? Emerson Kennedy battled. What's the guy you had on your last show?
Lotta Zay.
Okay, so that was the one there, and I believe B-Side even battled too, if I remember right.
Yep.
But that was shortly after he passed, and so I bought the shirt. to raise money and stuff, and obviously support Rip. You know,
Yeah.
The times I was around him, I didn't know he was sick. When I first met him, I just thought, okay, maybe he don't have an arm. Maybe, you know, I don't ask questions. I didn't get into his business.
Yep.
But being around him more and more, you learn that he never complained about a situation. He never, you know, oh, my poor life. He always was upbeat.
Mm-hmm.
He always was happy. He's joking around. You know, he's always in good spirits. And so that's the biggest memory I have with Rip is how happy he was. He was happy even though he was going through what he was going through. I didn't know he was going through that.
That's
people
wild.
around him knew that he was going through that, but I didn't know it. He didn't put that out there like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I respect him even more for not doing that, because it's really hard, not even in this day and age, to even post something on Facebook like I had a hard day today or something like that. Nothing. You know, he just was always happy. He was cracking jokes.
Very rare.
You know, I mean, the guy had a talent. The guy could spit. The guy.
Fuck yeah.
I still listen to his old tracks, and I get teared up. You know, it's so sad that life is taken so soon.
Yeah.
You know, he was young.
Yeah.
You know, and to be taken on something you can't control. You know, cancer. I mean, there's obviously it doesn't care. It doesn't discriminate against anyone
At all.
You know, at any age. I mean, it just saddens me to see people like that, that have just upbeat spirit. You know, have so much to give. You know, get taken.
Yeah.
You know, it breaks my heart. And you got other people who just been, you know, piece of shits the entire life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no other real way.
They're still around. Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. That's that, you know, that lifelong question to God, like, why do you take away the good ones or whatever, you know, like so soon or what have you. But yeah, to piggyback on your point though, like Rip definitely, even in my experience, like I knew from the jump that he was sick. Like he was pretty open about that with me, but we were talking a lot, you know. I mean, he was he immediately got involved with the battles, like, and like with helping me, even with matchup suggestions and shit like that. But he'd never talked about it. Like if he was not feeling well, like a perfect example is Mountain West Showdown 3, the one that we had at the Pickle Factory, where Lefty battled Caustic and Dirtbag Dan came and helped host. He was so sick then, he had a mask on. And I remember being like, no, it's cool. We'll make sure that we have all the video. Like, obviously, we're going to be taking video of it. And he's like, nah, man, I'm going to be there. And I was like, who am I to fucking tell him no?
Right.
For sure, you know?
Right.
And honestly, at the time, this is like, obvious, like 2013, like, hindsight's 2020, as I'm literally thinking about it right now, like, damn, he could have caught like any other illness, just like coming out, because like so many people were there, you know. And I think about that now because of COVID and fucking like just how quick fucking diseases spread. But he came out and he was definitely very ill, but he was right by the stage, and damn, that just made me think about that. And I wanted to bring him on the stage to fucking have him host. And he was like, fuck you, dog. I'm not gonna get the fuck up.
Like,
yeah, he's like, what the fuck, bro? I'm fucking yeah, I mean, rest in peace, Rip, man. That was
Peace, Rip.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. There's one of his, I mean, plenty of his songs, but his song Last Breath. Do you?
Yep.
Yeah.
That Last Breath breaks me up every time.
Oh my God, bro. I can't get every single time. It's
And
not
only his lyrics and his storytelling, which is I think was great, but obviously the beat and everything else too is something you can just ride to if you're not even into lyrics.
Right. Yeah.
You know? But knowing what he was going through too, on top of that,
yeah,
adds to it.
It adds to it totally. And then you can also hear the conviction in his voice and the emotion behind it and all that shit, you know? Rest in peace, Young Rip. Go fucking listen to that song. I'll actually put it in the comments of this shit. It's called Last Breath by Young Rip. Okay. So that was the reason why I brought that up is because first off, I haven't seen that shirt in quite some time. And I was just like, dude, of course fucking Chris has this. Like, you are someone that I have come accustomed to understanding that you the things that you value, you definitely take care of very, very well. To include your car, the whip that you have, the Thunderbird. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What year is it?
66.
66. Fucking crisp as shit.
Man, I think it's a lot of work, man.
I know it is.
It's a lot to put that sucker. You have a car that's 50 years old and you got to do a full restoration.
Yeah.
Nuts and bolts, everything's got to be done. And I'm not a mechanic. It's taken me almost 4 years to get to where it is now.
Right.
And it still needs a lot more.
Does it need a lot more work?
A lot more. And I'm just like, my wife's like, well, how much longer do you want to keep doing this?
Right.
I was like, well, I'm not tired of it yet.
Yeah.
It's fun to drive.
It is. You know? I mean, it's pretty as shit.
Yeah.
It looks very
good,
yeah. It's under covers right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course it is. But the point is that you definitely take care of shit. Like it's. I think that's a quality that not a lot of people have, and I just have always understood that. That's why I said, like, of course he's fucking wearing this shirt. He's kept it in such great condition for so fucking long. Like, I have a couple shirts like that, but yeah, so that just stood out to me. What were your impressions of, like, coming back to seeing just, like, that event take place because of what your involvement was when I first started that whole thing? Like, what was your impression of, like, oh, shit, Mike Masters is doing this?
No, I'm glad battles are back because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I've been a fan. I think I was thinking about this the other day. The first battle that I ever watched was Disaster and Caustic.
Whoa.
And I was like, because battling when I grew up was like at house parties. You know,
okay.
You call someone out, a guy can rap, another guy can rap. Let's battle.
Yeah.
And so the rap is different. You know, now it's it's really articulated and it's really written really well. You know what I mean, guys? And that's where I respect the craft too, because it takes a lot to write, you know, good content, and then to memorize the good content and all the punchlines and everything else, and just to remember all that stuff, because I have a hard time remembering a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, but to remember, you know, something you write down and you have to say 3 rounds. That I take my hat off, man. I respect that, and so I love the sport.
But you've been a fan of it then?
I've been a fan for a long time.
Yo, that's fucking wild. I would never have known that, like, even before. Okay. And you brought up that you're a fan of the sport. All right. This is going to transition so easily into what we're going to talk about. Would you say that a big deal of that is because you are, you know, you're a fan of, like, or not just a fan, but a boxer in general? Does it ring true a little bit, like when you see 2 people in, like, a vicinity like that? Yeah, competitive. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. Okay. So you graduated from Highland. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What up, Highland?
Rams.
Yo, I went to judge.
How would that be?
Yeah.
How would that be?
Oh, shit.
Because I went to Highland doesn't mean think I have money. I'm broke.
No shit. That's fucking wild. I thought in doing some research, and this is the first time that I've done research, and I feel like it's gonna be very beneficial moving forward. But walk me through like growing up with in a family dynamic where your father and your grandfather were both fighters too. Was it pressed on you to do something like
Always.
that? Really?
Always.
How old were you when you started?
I have pictures when I was about 7, maybe even 8, boxing. Like my family get together every weekend, and the entertainment was breakdancing, kids fight. So all of our cousins, we all got together and we'd box.
Yo,
you know, so that's what we used to do. And I have pictures when I was younger of that in a basement, but they put us in the basement and they put chairs around so somebody could fight.
Nah,
entertainment. You know, but I was doing it. My very first fight I had, I was 55 pounds. That's a little guy. That's a little guy, man. That's like the lowest weight there was, 55 pounds.
Yeah, wow.
You know,
like an amateur fight.
Well,
or like with your
kid,
with your, okay.
In my first amateur fight, I was at 55 pounds, and I
like in a ring and shit.
Yeah, in a ring.
Okay, so you're a little cat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How old were you?
I was 7. You had to be 10 to compete. But my dad lied.
Oh my god.
My dad lied. I mean, he back then you didn't have to produce anything. It was $10 a year for insurance. You don't have to produce any freaking birth certificate, nothing. Just what's his age? Okay, what's he weigh? Okay, yeah, he looks like he's 10. You know,
He looks like he's 10.
put him in there, and so I was fighting kids, 10, 11 years old.
Okay, so 7 years old, fighting kids 10, 11 years old. Your dad and your grandpa, they're fighters too. Because I as I was reading that, I was just thinking, like, what would that be like to be like? What was it? Walk me through being his son, and like were you trying to? Was it more him guiding, or was it you like? After he guided you to a place, you were like, I'm going to excel at this. Like, did you like boxing when you were a kid, or was
I didn't mind it?
Okay, you didn't mind it. Okay,
because you're a kid, it doesn't hurt to get hit.
Yeah.
Once you get older, it starts hurting, and then you have to. It's more discipline. It's more. It's a lot of work, and a lot of guys get turned off by the work because they're not disciplined. They don't want to put forth the work you need to put forth to be somebody. When I was a kid, like I said, we all would get around and we all would box.
Yeah.
I never thought I would take it as far as I did. I liked it. I played baseball. I played football. I played other sports. My dad taught me how to box, and he took me to his trainer, who was Red Taylor. Red passed away. It's been 20 years now since Red's been gone.
What up, Red?
He took me to Red because he says, it's the best I could do. I can't go any further. I'm gonna take him to a guy that can take him farther than I can. And Red was like my custom model. He didn't have any kids. He had a bunch of kids that were in the gym that he helped and took care of. But him and I had a relationship till the day he died.
Wow.
He never had any kids, but he always considered myself and my friend Lucius Valencia, who passed away. It's been a couple of years now.
Rest in peace, Lucius.
Yeah, it's his boys, his sons. And so. He was crucial in my life, not just with boxing, because he never wanted me to box past amateur.
Really?
He never wanted, because how corrupt the sport is, and he was like, I can't be there to guide you because I don't know anything about professional boxing. He was a great amateur coach. He had a couple United States teams. He took a team to the Pan Am Games. Had Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay.
Damn.
Was one of his light heavyweight. When he was a young kid.
What?
And so he was around. He was around for a long time in the amateur boxing scene, but professional, he just didn't like the corruption, the crooked people, and I saw that when I got into the game.
Yeah.
My second and third pro fights, I had to pay for me and my trainer to fly to LA, put us all up, and when I got done fighting, they gave me my check. I signed the back of my check, and I gave it to the guy I fought. So, I wasn't making no money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was going because I needed to get the fights. And just seeing
that was at the Great Western Forum. I don't want you to just glide over the fact that if I could box at the Great Western Forum. The Showtime Lakers played at the Great Western Forum. Anyway,
they had Monday night fights there for 30 years.
Yeah,
every Monday night. And they were televised. I want to say it wasn't ESPN. Maybe Fox, some sports channel televised it. And so a lot of great fighters come out of there and fought there. De La Hoya fought there. Marco Antonio Barrera was a big draw there. Obviously, a lot of Mexican fighters.
Yeah.
And the guys that I fought down there were from Mexico.
Yeah.
But you fight at midnight on a Monday night, and there's still people in the stands.
What?
Those fans. The guys, they didn't know me.
They didn't know you at all.
They didn't know me at all.
Yeah.
But
they're fans of the sport.
Fans of the sport.
So to go back to what you were talking about, you paid for that. Like it says in here, second pro fight in the Great Western Forum, you paid for it, ? And it was because, why was that? Because you just had to get these fights?
There's no local promoter, man. There wasn't like it is today. Flash wasn't around then. If Flash was around, I would accomplish way more than what I did. Way more. Because by the time I got the Flash, I was 4-3. I just hit a rough patch.
Yeah.
And taking fights like that was really, really hard on my I was hard on myself, on my body too. So I quit.
But you
know,
talk
I
about
quit
the
in
mental
2001,
part.
the
Yeah,
mental part of it.
Yeah.
So I quit in 2001.
Yeah.
You know, took 5 years off, and during that 5 years, I see people on TV that were amateur, and I knew that I had beaten guys that I knew, and I just knew that I can do it. I said I could do what they do.
Yeah.
You know, at the time when I first turned pro, we had no promoter, you know, to build your record. Flash came in. I'm like, boom, there's my guy.
Yeah.
You know, Flash, he fell in love with me. You know, from the time I went
how'd
in.
you find Flash?
He had a gym.
Wait. Hold on. There's so much that I want to touch on. I'm going to put a pin in where you found Flash. Hold on. I'm going to put a pin on that because I want to go back to when you took 2 years off initially, from like 98 to 2000, roughly. What was the reason for that?
So my last fight that I have taken a short notice fight. Short notice is 4 days. Took a 4-day notice fight.
That is wild.
And it's
okay.
Man, I fought on a day notice once. And so you fight, you know. And so I took a short notice fight in Washington. My family happened to drive down there from Tacoma to Olympia. It was a couple hours. And dude, I didn't know. I would have taken the fight if I knew they had same day weigh-ins, you know, where everybody else where I've been fighting and how it is now, you weigh in the day before. The fight's on a Saturday, you weigh in Friday night. You know, you have 24 hours to rest up and get ready for the fight. This fight, I weighed in at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I fought at 5 o'clock p.m.
Whoa.
You know, and I lost a bunch of weight. I had to lose 15 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, to make weight, and it took everything out of me. I had nothing in my legs at all. Nothing. And, I mean, that's no excuse why the guy beat me. Probably would have beat me if I was healthy. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
I just know when he hit me with a jab, he dropped me with a jab. I had no legs at all.
Damn.
You know, so I got beat. I got stopped. And my mom wanted to jump in the ring. She was going crazy, and I told her I'd never fight again.
That was okay. So that was the promise to your mom that you were not going to fight again. And so then that goes into the next 5 years. And that's when we were talking before, but that's when you became a father, so there was a lot of transition in your life, you know, during that time frame. In that 5 years, you were just speaking to it, but I want to dive into that a little bit more. When you were watching other welterweights at that time, 2001, 2006, who was killing it at 2001 to 2006? Floyd, yeah.
Fernando Vargas, David Diaz. And those are all guys I were amateur with.
Yeah.
You know, Fernando Vargas and David Diaz both were in my same weight division. We fought amateur at the same time, in the same weight division. We never fought each other.
Yeah.
But we fought a lot of the same guys. We all fought a lot of the same guys.
So that was your class.
Yeah. Well, not my weight class.
No. Your the group that you came up, if you were to say, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Those guys were on the 96 team.
Yeah. Okay. So watching all that from wherever you were, doesn't matter. You had this like, dog, I could fucking, even in like 2002, like even though you made the promise and you're going through all this transition, I would have to imagine that some of that fight and fire was still just like brewing it. No, really? No. Okay, so you were checked out. So obviously then it had to be near the tail end, I guess, like 2005. When did it start to creep back in, and what made it creep back in?
I stayed away from boxing. I don't want nothing to do with it.
I remember this story. I remember you telling me about this. Like 5 years ago, you were telling me this.
I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't listen to it. And I used to have every magazine every month from Ring Magazine, you know, because I would read about them, read about the fighters and stuff. And I was 2001, I was like, 22 or 3 or something like that. But I would still take them and put them on a wall. You know what I mean? That's just, I stayed away from all them, didn't watch any fights at all, because I just didn't want to relive it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to have that fire start burning again and go, man, I got to get back in there. I didn't want to. I checked out. But little by little, as I started working at a gym, my uncle used to be part owner of Lifestyles 2000 as a fitness center. They had a chain of them, 5 of them. And he got me a job, and I was making really good money. And I was in the gym every day, and I had to
What
work
up,
out.
Lifestyle?
They got bought out by Golds.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
okay.
Golds got bought out by Vasa. But I don't don't know if you remember that gym on 21st South, right there off of like 11th East.
21st and 11th
across
East.
From Granite.
From Granite
Furniture.
Granite Furniture, 21st and 11th East. Oh shit! Okay, yeah,
That
yeah.
gym. So that was one of his gyms that he owned. They
Okay.
had that gym the longest. That was the original.
That's
one of
all the
original
way
gyms.
up. Yeah. Okay.
I either worked at that gym the longest, but I worked at all the gyms that he had.
Yeah.
They'd always move you around, but I worked at the Sugar House one the longest though. I like that gym the best.
Okay, so you were just working there like as a trainer or okay, cool. Keep going.
Personal trainer, sold gym memberships, making a good living. You know, we did well enough. My ex-wife and I, we bought a house. You know, we're living the good life. But little by little, like I said, be working out and stuff. I knew I could still do it, and it started coming. I was still young. You know, still young enough.
Yeah.
In 2006, when I came back, I want to believe I was 28 or 29.
Okay.
Something.
2006 is that's when.
26.
Yeah. Because then 2006 is when you had your next fight.
So 2005, I started training. And
Who started? Is that when you coached up with Flash? Okay, There we go. Now we're gonna come back to the pin. Boom. So you're working at the Lifetime or Lifestyle?
Well, I had lost my job at Lifestyles.
Okay.
I had it wasn't Lifestyles anymore. It was Golds.
Okay.
So
All right.
that was with Golds for a year. End up losing my job there.
Yeah.
I lost that job. I did jobs here and there, and it was really hard, man. And I had a family. I had a mortgage. My wife wasn't working. She was strictly going to school, and so it was a lot to hold down.
Yep.
Especially when you're bouncing around from job to job. And finally, I was like, I'm just gonna fight. I was gonna fight full time. And just focus myself on just competing and just training as a job, like it was my job. And no money, even though I was, devoted and dedicated to the sport with, 7 pro fights, fighting locally here in Utah. There's no money, man. I was making I wasn't making any money. Flash he never paid me, but Flash didn't pay me, mainly just to get fights.
Yeah.
To get on the winning track, get fights under my belt so I can hit the road and take big fights and make money, And most of the fights I fought here locally weren't dangerous fights.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was basically, it's kind of like you pick somebody you're going to fight. You're not going to pick somebody who's going to whoop you.
Right.
I mean, you're going to pick somebody who's going to win.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get fights under my belt and build a good winning record before I hit the road.
So that speaks to then the 10 fight win streak, because I saw there was a 10 fight win streak, and so none of those fights would you say were scary? Like
No, I didn't say that it was scary. There was
excuse me, not scary. My bad.
there was one fight, man. Flash and I, we get together. We're gonna go visit Flash. Flash is funny. We tell stories.
I want to fucking listen.
But
to
he was in my
Flash.
corner, and we fought in Lincoln City, Oregon, which is right on the coast. Of
Yo,
Oregon.
Flash, we're gonna make it happen. Flash, all 3 of us are gonna sit. Yeah, hell yeah.
So we were there, and every round, I'd hit this guy and I'd rock him. I'm gonna get this guy out of here, and it would piss him off. He'd come back and he'd rock me. I hit him, rock him, come back, he'd rock me, and it was going on for like a couple rounds. And the 4th round came out, and I rocked him real good this round.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I rocked him, he came back and he just threw a combination and he rocked me right in the bell ring. I don't remember it.
No way.
I don't remember. I don't remember walking. I see it on video.
Yeah.
Now I know what happens, because I saw it on video. But during that time, I didn't remember going to the corner. I didn't remember the next couple rounds. I was out of it. And Flash, it's funny, he tells a story because he was talking to me, and he says, "You were somewhere else." He goes, "I was looking at you. Your eyes were up." So he goes, "What I did was I pulled your shorts out, and I threw ice down your shorts." He goes, "It woke you up."
Yeah, it woke you right the fuck up,
Yeah,
Dave.
he was slapping me and nothing.
In the corner?
No reaction. He's like,
In between rounds?
wait, you see him slapping me like this.
Was it between rounds?
Between rounds, trying to wake me up.
Oh shit!
I was out of it.
Did you fall?
No, he didn't knock me down.
Oh, he
Just
just
right when the bell rang, he threw a combination, bing, and he hit me, and I go back to the corner, and I'm like, oh shit. But I woke up. That ice water, I did it for me.
That did it.
Got me going, and I just wanted to finish the fight.
Yeah.
You know, just get the W.
Yeah.
You know, but that fight could have changed a lot of things that I do would have got to me 10 seconds earlier.
Wow.
You know.
That's wild. That's so okay. I appreciate you putting more context on that because that's. I mean, you had said like you pick a fighter and you're like, I'm trying to stack my stats.
This is a fight out of town. I didn't pick this fight.
Oh, you didn't pick this. Okay. Well, then that would also take that too. Even though you're trying to stack your stats, you don't. I would imagine. I don't take you for someone that would underestimate any of your opponents ever.
No.
Yeah. So whenever you're in the ring, because I think about this too, like in a battle, you know, like I don't ever underestimate the other person, you know. Like I wait to get their best punch or their best line or whatever. I'm like, oh fuck, it's there somewhere, you know, like something he's gonna say something. And the whole crowd's going to fucking go crazy, you know? So I always prepare for that. I don't ever think that I'm going to fucking battle a slouch, you know? And so just like you, even though like I said, you were padding stats, like there wasn't ever a time that you had entered a ring and you're like, yeah, fuck, I'm going to roll through this. You can't, right?
Can't do that, man. Because there's, like Mike Tyson says, man, there's an unwritten rule that you may lose your life. You know, there's not in the rule. It's not on the contract, you know, but there's an unwritten rule that you can lose your life in that ring, you know, and I've seen it. I've seen it many times on TV. I've seen it, you know, well, obviously on TV. I've never seen anybody I've done it to or anything like that. But I used to have dreams, dude, of me dying in the ring. You know, I used to have dreams of me, and I was okay with it.
Yeah.
I was okay with that. I said, if that's the way I'm going to go, that's the way I'm going to go. You know, but there's that unwritten rule, man. You just never, you never know if you're going to come out the same way. And the worst thing that can happen is if you come out, say you don't die and you come out a vegetable. Some fighters do. You know, that's even worse.
Do you think knowing that risk is in place, like you have to have a comfortability with it? I mean, you explained that you do, but like have you talked to other fighters before, like as they're coming up and has that ever been a piece of advice that you've given to them? Like has to be a comfortability in the mortality of you know, the fact that you could like be seriously injured or whatever. Like, is there something that has to, do you feel like you have to be comfortable with that in order to achieve some great success? Like kind of like, look, this is what I'm subscribing to do. Like football players, you know, this Damar Hamlin thing that just happened. Like, I just hear about a lot of football players talking about how it's a sobering reality that they are playing this fucking violent ass sport where they're having car crashes
Every
type
time
of
they get
impact. Yeah. So and they're okay with it, but are they okay with it? Because when something happens, everyone gets all, whoa, hold up a minute. You know, everyone starts recalculating as soon as something for real happens, and you're like, oh shit, that's right, we could die. So you explain a little bit about your comfortability with it, but has that ever come across for you?
I had a conversation with people about that part of the game. But I mean, you see it nowadays with a lot of guys that they look for ways out, and that could be that they're not ready to. You always hear, oh, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. You know, is he really ready to die? I've heard guys say that on TV, and they get in there, and next thing you know, he's tapping out. You know, there's many ways, there's many forms of quitting. You know, just because you don't say I quit doesn't mean that you didn't quit. You know, if a ref goes and asks you, do you want to continue? And you don't respond, that to me is saying I quit. You know, so there's been many forms of quitting. And a lot of guys, if they're not built for that, I could see them doing that. You know, it's not for everybody. Boxing is not for everybody. You know, a lot of people see the glitz and glamour. A lot of these guys making money, but they got to put the work in. A lot of work, and not just professional. I mean, amateurs. They're amateurs since they were kids, traveling everywhere. Like when I was a kid, I used to travel everywhere and fighting every weekend. You know what I mean? I had 100 amateur fights. You know, by the time I was 13, I had 50 amateur fights. You know, just traveling, going here, going there. Because when I was younger, my parents divorced when I was 12, and then my mom had moved us up to Tacoma, Washington. So in Tacoma, I boxed up there, and when I boxed up there, it was a sobering experience because I was the best fighter in the state in Utah. And I go up there, and I'm like the 5th, 6th best fighter in the gym, you know?
Wow.
And there's a bunch of kids that are my age. We're all the same. We're all good. We're all friends still to this day, but they all could fight. They all could fight, you know, and Coach Tom, he had, Emmett Linton becoming, was one of the best amateurs at the time, world champion, professional. Paul Vaden, Paul became a world champion also, was one of the top amateurs. I mean, he has a national champion now, a kid out there now, but they just raise fighters out there, and it's different. The fighting's different out there than the fighting.
Where's this
out
again?
Here in Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma, Washington. Yeah. So the sobering experience of being out there and being like, holy shit, like was that also motivating though to be around like top competition and be like, yo, exactly, that's
I had to get better. It raised my game. I sparred with a guy named Isaac. Isaac was countering everything I was throwing. I wasn't used to that, and he's so fast. It's fast. I'm like, how am I going to figure this guy out? How am I going to figure this guy? So I started doing to him what he was doing to me.
Oh,
and
shit.
Next thing you know, it become a master session. Like, it's back and forth. You pick off of what he's doing, and then you got to try something else. And that just makes you better. Plus, I mean, psychologically, dude, when you're fighting, you're fighting the best guys in the gym. These guys can fight.
Yeah. And
you go out there on the road, it's like, he ain't better than Isaac.
He ain't better. Yeah,
that
dude ain't better. Yeah. Okay, let's go back up to 2006. All right, so you get up with Flash. Again, we've broached this. How did you meet Flash?
So my amateur coach, Jim Young, he had a gym. It was called Jake's Boxing Club.
Okay.
Jake's Boxing Club is next door to Mexican Civical Center. It's just a parking lot now, but it used to be a building there. And actually, that's the very first gym I worked out at. When my dad took me to see Red, because Red trained out of that gym with him. Him and Jake ran that gym together. And when Red moved on, and then Jake passed away, Jim still had that gym. So Jim, that's where I wanted to go.
Jim had the gym?
Jim had the gym.
Dude, what up, Jim with the gym?
But Jim, I went back to Jim, and Jim was working with Flash.
Okay.
And so that's how I met Flash. Was because of those two. And so when they ended up selling that gym, we all ended up going over where Flash had his gym.
Mm-hmm.
So that's since then I stayed. I was with Flash the entire time.
That's the one in Hollitt or Mill Creek?
He's had him everywhere. The first one I saw, I was with him at was on 39th South and it's at 9th East, right behind that 7-Eleven.
Yep.
So that was a gym. I think it's a restaurant now or something. But it was a gym at the time. It's the first time I saw him. And then he
big old parking lot?
Well, it's part of that parking lot, yeah.
Or is it in a sport, like a mall?
No, right across that Sev.
Okay, never mind. I'm thinking about the one that was in the strip mall.
The Rancho Market is kitty corner from the Sev.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so you guys transferred to his gym.
And then the biggest gym he had, where we actually had fights at, was the Fight Coliseum. And that was over on 7th South and 8th South. It was on 8th South and 6th West, 7th West. By Fear Factory.
Okay.
And so it's like 13,000 square foot. It was a big gym.
Yeah.
But he had fights there.
Whoa.
So that's how Flash got around having to rent places out. He'd have the fights there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10-fight winning streak. You're feeling pretty good at this point, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, as far as your record's concerned, you got like this stuff going on at home. You're like, okay. I saw a fight with you against Paulie Malignaggi. Yeah, I was gonna say Malignaggi. And where were you at when you fought him? Like, as far as mentally, like going into there, like.
Well, given only fights I ever had proper notice is when I was fighting at home.
Really?
I'll say proper notice. Like fighting a caliber, fighting Paulie Malignaggi after his loss to Ricky Hatton. And so he was a world champion. He lost his belt. In the very next fight, I'm fighting him. And I got it on 2 weeks' notice. But I stayed in the gym. I was always in the gym. And I tried to stay around my weight at that time. And I fought. Funny thing about it, man, is I fought at 140 pounds for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was 140 pounds. We fought at 140. Obviously, one fight, I just couldn't make the weight. I only missed weight one time my entire career, amateur professional, and I just couldn't make the 140 no more. 141's the lowest I can get. And after that, I moved up to 47, which gave me, I was a lot stronger at that weight. But the fight with Paulie, I looked at it. It wasn't about the money with me.
Right.
With Paulie, because I really didn't make any money. Not the kind of money you would think fighting an ex-champion.
Yeah.
But I looked at the opportunity. I was like, if I beat this guy, look what this does to my career.
Yeah, hell yeah.
On a big stage, because it was Lou DiBello's card. Lou wanted to sign me already from before that fight. And even after the fight, he still wanted to sign me, because of, he's like, gosh damn, you almost had him out. You had him. That sucker, he's tough. He is tough.
He's quick as shit.
Yeah. He's the fastest fighter I ever fought.
Really?
He's fast.
Yeah, he was fast as fuck. I was watching that whole fight. I was like, God damn, he's just so quick, dude.
He's fast.
And he doesn't have that knockout power like that. But he's, I'm
Believe me,
sure.
It hurts.
I was going to say, I'm sure it fucking hurts.
It hurts. He doesn't have that Keith Thurman type of power.
Yeah.
But he has enough power to gain respect. Because if he didn't, he'd get bullied by everybody.
Of course.
And he doesn't.
Yeah. You know what? I appreciate you actually saying that, because that immediately changed my view about it. Because, of course, his jab fucking probably hurt like a motherfucker. At least to keep people at bay.
I couldn't time his jab.
I was watching and I was just like,
couldn't time it. He showed different looks, and he throws feints behind it, and it was so fast. Come up from the hip, you wouldn't really see it, and it comes so fast, and then he throw 3-4 punches. Next thing you know, I punch, and he's over here. I couldn't get to him. Wow.
Okay, so after that opportunity, I saw you guys talking a little bit and all that. What was that? That whole experience like? I mean, you were talking about Lou DiBella, he was talking to you still about even signing you after. At this point, you're your career, you're seeing some pretty significant things happen. But where are you at mentally about how to make that next move, that next step? Am I getting signed, or what the fuck is going on? I just have to understand
the problem
that, because
I was having with that situation, in that time period, that time frame, was that the opportunities that I had, I didn't win them. If I'd have won those fights, it would have changed my career. If I'd have beat Paulie, it would have changed my career. If I'd have beat Devin Alexander, would change my career at that time. I just didn't take advantage of. Like I said, every fight I got was short notice, dude. The very last fight I had was on a 3-day notice. I lost 15 pounds in 3 days. I was eating a salad a day, no water, to make weight.
No water?
They offered me money. I was like, fuck, I haven't fought for all this time. Need the money, and same thing. I fought in spurts. My energy was up and down with the weight loss. The weight loss just took everything out of my legs. But it's part of the sport.
Yeah. What would you say to the point of, you mentioned Devin Alexander. I looked at your record, bro, and you fought fucking Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman too. What the fuck? When you were ranked as high as 9th in the world, right?
Well, amateur, I was ranked as high as number 3 in the world, in the U.S.
In the U.S.
I was ranked in the top 10 for 2 years. My last 2 years in the amateurs, I was always in the top 10.
Wow.
Professional. The funny thing about that is that I fought 15 undefeated fighters.
Yeah.
You think about it, all these guys that are world champions now, or even contenders, they're not fighting 15 undefeated fighters. They're lucky to fight one. They're not taking those type of chances or those type of risks because they have a good promoter, and they don't have to take that type of risk.
Right.
If they do take that type of risk, it's for an eliminator, to win a title.
Oh, yeah.
And you're getting paid. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Me, I couldn't because I'm coming from Utah. Nobody gave me a chance. I had to take these opportunities because if I beat one of these guys, it changed my career.
It changes your whole thing.
You know?
So, like, when you, like, how did the Keith Thurman fight come about? Like,
same thing, short notice. I had a fight scheduled in New Jersey, and Hurricane Irene, I think it was, came through that weekend of the fight. And so we had to leave. We had to leave, like, immediately.
damn.
And so that fight didn't take place. And so I was in the gym. I was in shape. I was ready to fight. And then I got a call, you know, for Keith Thurman. I was like, who's this Keith Thurman guy? You know? And so fight Keith Thurman is a week notice.
Yeah, yeah.
And they gave me more than what I normally make for that type of fight.
Yeah.
And so why not take the fight? I was like, I'm in shape. I'm ready to go. And that motherfucker, man. Dude, I'm still the same, bro. Seriously, he hit me with the body shot. Look, man, I'm not afraid to say. I'm not afraid to say.
I gotta stand up for that shit.
I'm not afraid to say, you know,
He said,
getting stopped. I've been stopped, but I never quit.
yeah, yeah, of
You know
course.
what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather go out on my back, go out on my shield, and you know you're going to have a fight with me, you know, if you beat me. And he hit me with the shot, dude, and, dude, I couldn't get up.
No way.
I got up,
Yeah.
but he's like, you want to continue? I'm like, mm-hmm. He's like, you want to continue? Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, you don't. I was like, oh, I couldn't breathe.
What round was it?
The first round. This motherfucker threw. Are we allowed to cuss?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
This dude, he threw was a right hand, and he finished with the left hook to the body.
Oh my god.
And I wasn't expecting it. And he threw everything behind it, and I never been hit like that in my life.
Oh my
You know?
god. I'm not laughing.
I don't know if
It's-
he broke a rib or something, but I still have a hard time breathing. He did something to me, man. He did something to me.
Dude, well, I mean, Keith Thurman, what's his nickname? Fucking,
One time,
yeah, one time. So, like, he has that fucking power.
he was strong.
He was strong.
He was strong.
I
Biggest
mean-
puncher I ever fought,
Ever fought.
Yeah.
Yeah, by far.
by far.
Yeah, but was his jab game, that was, like, everything?
No, he just was strong.
Yeah.
Everything he threw, like I was catching punches with my gloves, and I could feel him go, man, that hurt on my glove.
Yeah.
He catches me clean, I'm going to sleep.
You were thinking that?
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking that. He catches me clean, I'm going to sleep. That kind of power. I
yeah.
never had that feeling with anybody else.
Wow, that's
You know,
crazy.
Even with Danny. Danny Garcia,
I was going to, there you go. Yeah.
Danny had kind of weird power. His nickname is Swift, which I think it fits him perfect because he's not fast. He's more of a quick guy, but he relies on counterpunching, and he waits for you to punch, and then he'll punch.
Yeah.
So he punches with you, which is a great counterpuncher. You know, so he doesn't really need speed. He's just timing.
Yeah.
You know, with timing too, he sets his feet and he waits for you to punch, and then he punches when you punch. And so that's why he ended up catching me. And I joked with them afterwards too, because they stopped the fight on a cut, and I said, "You never put me down."
Oh, hell
He
no.
never put me down.
You said that in the ring with him?
No, after the fight, I was like, "You never put me down."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's an old saying. Like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie, with Jake LaMotta.
The Raging
Jake,
Bull?
Raging Bull.
Yeah.
So when he goes, "Never put me down, Ray. Never put me down, Ray."
I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
I got to
beat the
rewatch
shit out
that
of him.
now.
Ray Robinson beat the shit out of him, but they stopped it.
What up, Jake LaMotta?
Jake, dude lived like 90-something years.
Jake LaMotta did.
He lived a long time.
Yeah. Wow. So that's wild that, I mean, the reason I brought those fighters up, and I'm glad that you put like more emphasis surrounding like how many undefeated fighters that you fought, because to even have those three names on your resume goes to the point of like you extending yourself to really fucking make a name and challenge yourself, really, but also like how I mean, you said it, like one of these fights can change my whole fucking life, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can sit home and pad my record all I want.
Right.
I'm only fooling myself.
Right.
I'm only fooling myself. If I sit at home
See,
and I get
this is what I'm
17,
talking about.
17 wins in a row, and I got this beautiful record, I'm only fooling myself because I never been tested.
Right.
You know, you got to go out there and you got to test yourself, man. You got to see if this is what you really want to do, if you're really built for it. You know?
Do you think that's true in life?
Oh yeah, boxing resonates a lot with what I deal with daily basis with life. The perseverance, just facing adversity almost every day. We compete on a daily basis just for our job. If you don't do well enough, they'll fire you and find someone else. So it's daily competition. And so it helps me out a lot as far as, especially with the quitting thing, when life gets hard, because life has not been easy for anybody. Everybody has a different story. I went through a lot before with my ex-wife, my kids, financial problems at the same time. It was just a lot to deal with, and to persevere and overcome it. I know I can overcome anything, because of what boxing taught me.
Do you thank you for that. That resonates a lot with me. As far as like just pushing through and getting through challenges and adversity, man, because there's a lot that I admittedly that I've succumbed to. Like 2019 was a rough year for me, and I don't know, to come out of it on the other side, I feel just very lucky, for real, to have an opportunity to see, have a positive outlook on the world, because I was in a very dark place. Very dark place.
A lot of people could stay there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you made the right decision. You chose to change your life, and not everybody's built like that.
Yeah. I think it comes from a lot of competitive sports, though, and also because there's just the want to continue to work on yourself. Like in basketball, football, growing up, like you had to train, but this isn't like an equate like what type of training you went through. The point is that through that type of training, and then also through basic training, and like there was a click moment in basic training when I was like, damn, I just figured this whole thing out. Like I was taking a lot of the shit personal that they were saying to me, and then I was just like, oh wait, I mean, this is like your job. Like you just like, you go home after this. Like you don't mean what you're saying to me. You want me to succeed. And so I just won. I just got powered through that. So like a lot of that type of training, that mental, those mental gymnastics that I had to go through in order to stay even keel and stay on a route of success, got me through a lot of that. But I definitely found a place where I could have fallen very fucking deep, for sure. So
glad you're still here, man.
yeah, me too, dog. Shit, what the fuck? Okay, so there's a couple things I want to talk about. I don't want to hold you too long. So, when we talk about Paul Malignaggi and his record of like when he fought you is like 25-1 with only 2 knockouts or whatever, and your record at the time was
16-6 or so
with 11 knockouts, or was it?
Something.
It was something like so. I'm just saying your knockout rate, like percentage, is definitely like through the roof. I mean, much higher than a lot of folks that are at a welterweight. What was like one of your what was your go-to punch, or what was like a go-to, like, I mean, you were knocking cats out, TKOs or stoppages or whatever the case was. I mean, there had to be some sort of strategy in place of you utilizing obviously your brute force, and what was your favorite punch? You're like, okay, I got him now.
My favorite punch is any punch I can hit you with.
Let's go. Let's go.
Any punch I can hit you with, because the thing about it when you're in there, man, is that things won't go as planned, so you have to be able to adapt.
They never go as planned, right?
Yeah, so you got to be able to adapt. So you don't see guys doing it now, but I used to set traps with guys, and so I would do something to see his reaction, to see how he would react to it, and then we go around, and I knew if I do it again, for instance, I jab to the body, and see his reaction. If he goes and drops his hands to block, I know I could do it again. I know I could bring it up. It depends what hand he blocks it with is what hand I'm going to use it to counter on him, right?
Yeah.
So you jab to the body, and he drop his right hand to block it, and I come with I fake jab, and I come with the left hook. He drops the right hand, then I come with the right hand, right? So it's whatever he would do, I would take what he gave me.
Yeah.
In all my fights, I have fought. It's never you never go in there planning this. You go in and just mindset like I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna go to work.
I'm going to work.
Yeah, I'm going to work. So I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna work. You know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And see how he reacts to what I'm doing, what he's doing to me, how I can counter what he's doing. So it's a chess match.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how every fight basically is. I mean, I'm not guys out with left hooks. I'm not guys out with body shots. I'm not guys out with right hands. I mean, just whatever opportunity is there, I'm gonna take advantage of it.
Whatever they're showing. Would you say that you have more power than like I guess the Fairweather welterweight? Yeah, that's the question.
I think every fighter has power.
Yeah, no. What I mean as far as like knockout percentage wise, like yeah.
I believe if anybody gets caught in the right spot, it doesn't matter your punching power, you get them out of there. I did have. I remember I hit guys with jabs, and I could see the reaction in their face. They were like, I don't want to get hit with that again. You know? And so that's just with the jab.
Yeah.
You know, and so it kind of like, oh, I got you now. You know, then you start setting them up to throw.
You can tell it pretty
heavier.
quick. You can that they're.
Sometimes you can hear it.
Nah,
sometimes
stop
guys,
it.
You know, you take the wind from them. You know, you can hear it. You know, and then you see their reaction as well, and so.
So any punch was your favorite punch. Any punch that landed was your favorite punch.
Any punch I can land on you, man.
Yeah. Okay. I think that how I just was thinking about like someone being in the ring and how you were describing like this chess match essentially, like, and the traps that you would set and shit, like that is that's just like an incredible sport, like the mental mind game of like doing that. It's a whole different animal outside of just going in there to punch and like fight. Like you could really, like, it goes to your point, you could really get fucking hurt if you're not putting any sort of work and effort into it. And obviously if you're fighting any amateur that gets into the ring, they either have some sort of idea that they're you know, in that same chess match with you, or you catch them and they're just not on the same level as the chess player that you are. Would you equate like boxing and what would you say is, this is the question, would you say that boxing is more mental than physical?
I believe sports is more mental than physical.
In general?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What?
If you have somebody that's not as good, not as athletic, is not as good an athlete in whatever profession that he's doing, but he has a mental toughness and he thinks he's the greatest, that's tough to beat. Yeah, that's tough to beat a guy like that. You know, they always say it's hard to beat a guy that's undefeated because he don't know how it is. He doesn't want to lose. You know, somebody that's had a loss, they know how it feels. You know, it depends if you want to have that feeling again. You know, some guys are comfortable, you know, with that feeling. You know, but you get guys that are mentally strong. It's in all sports.
Yeah. You
know, I mean, that's more so than physical because you're in the gym every day, so you know you're physically fit.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it is getting prepared here, and especially getting prepared for what you're going to be going through, because sometimes it's going to be a lot. You know, not every fight is easy.
No.
You know, and so you're going to go through there and you get hit with some hot shit, and what are you going to do? You know, you got to make a decision on what you're going to do.
You got to make a decision.
You know, so like I said, it's like playing chess, but you're getting hit at the same time.
That's
so things
fucking
change
crazy.
When you mentally, things change as you're getting hit, because you have to think of the consequences.
Yeah.
I do this, I'm going to get hit with this. You know?
I normally have something to say pretty quick, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around because I thought that, I mean, I've boxed, but nothing crazy. I've never like boxed. And so to be in the ring and like have strategies to hurt someone, which isn't wild. I mean, fuck it. But I've just never boxed. So it's always just been like I'm going into, if I've like put on gloves like with my brother or something, like it's just like I'm going.
No strategy.
There's no, yeah.
Punches and you get tired fast.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's nothing wild with that. Or excuse me, like strategy. Yeah, there's no strategy. But to like go in and like look across the ring and see that someone is just as potentially or more prepared potentially or whatever the case is like that. As I was thinking about that, and I was like, wait a second, I fucking have, and it's through battle rap. And it's exactly through fucking battle rap. As far as like that mentality that I was telling you about, like going into a ring, sometimes you can tell if the other guy's just got it already before the fucking match starts. You can just feel it. You can just feel their energy coming off, and you're like, oh man, they are fucking ready to go. You know, like I'm not in the same mental capacity as you are right now. Like I want to win, but you want to fuck me up. You know, like, and you can tell like sometimes in the first.
I get paid to.
No, different. I know, but like in some cases, sometimes fucking people even they get paid to do it as well. But I'm talking about like in for not getting paid. It's just some people have a fucking different energy to them when it comes to that shit. You know, and you explained that like you got to be scared of a guy who what'd you say that. Hasn't lost, or
that's a dangerous fighter. That's
an
undefeated guy has never lost.
Yeah.
You know, he never don't know how it feels.
Right. So that's what you can tell when you face someone who's like one pretty consistent. When like in battle rap, you know, you'd be like, damn, you definitely haven't been tested super hard. And I don't know if I'm the one to fucking test you because like. Your first round was like very in my face and very direct, and I don't have a lot of those same bars. Like mine are like maybe more jokey or some shit, you know. Like I can only liken it to that, but that's the closest I can get, and that's not fucking that close at all, you know. But that's the closest I can get mentality wise, because there is some sort of chess game that's happening while you're looking at someone.
If you're a great freestyler and you can get around all that shit.
Yeah,
that's like Emerson Kennedy. That dude, he always takes your best line and then he'll flip it.
Right.
You know, and so that's part of gaining that momentum back.
Yeah, no, it's totally fucking right. That's what I'm saying. It's that back and forth and shit. Mm-hmm. And if you feel like you're not prepared enough and not ready for it, you can get caught with your fucking. You can just get caught on the chin, and then you're sitting there stuck. You know, for real. I've definitely been caught like a couple times. Shit, it's a weird feeling, to be honest with you, because like you can have a lot of momentum going and it all be taken away like in like 2 lines from the other person. Like, and if you don't normally I've been able to like bounce back, but there's been a couple times where it's like I don't feel like I got it right now. Like it's wild, you know.
You beat yourself already.
Yeah, I know. No, 100%. That's what I'm saying.
It's mental, bro.
And it goes back to what you were talking about, the mental shit. And it's like in life.
In your mind that I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose, you know, so you can do everything you can to win. I mean, I'm not saying that I won all my fights because I haven't. But every fight I went into, I knew I could win that fight. I knew it. I know I didn't win every fight, but I knew I could beat whoever's in front of me. I knew I could beat him.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that in the back of my mind. And Flash would tell me all the time, you know, that I could beat the guy. Like he was kind of like pumping me up too. You know, I don't know if he didn't feel like I was prepared because I was really, I zone out a lot. When I get ready for fights, I don't talk to anybody. Well, I don't talk to anybody. I'm just real short. You know, I'm just like, yeah. Like I'm just focusing on what I got to do. You know, and I'm envisioning the fight a million ways in my head because you don't know how it's going to go. You know?
Yeah. You saying that piece, I know I'm going to cut that. Like you saying like every single fight that you went into, I knew I wasn't going to lose. Or how'd you say that?
No, every fight I went into, I knew I could win that fight.
You could win the fight.
So I didn't go into a fight thinking I'm going to lose. I'm going to go down, lay down, collect a paycheck. I never, ever did that. I always went into every fight saying, I could win this fight. I took a fight on 1 day notice. 1 day notice. Chris, you want to fight tomorrow? I'm like, sure. Who is it? Yeah. You know? And it was a guy that I used to train with. We sparred many times. And strong. Willie Walton is a friend of mine. But we used to train together. And he had a show here scheduled. And the guy didn't show up for the weigh-in. And it was on a Friday night. And they called me and said, hey, you want to fight? I was like, yeah, what weight? You know, well, what weight do you want? Yeah. I said, I could probably make, I don't know, 143 tomorrow. I say pizza. You know? I just had some pizza. So I fought him on 1 day notice, dude, and they should have stopped that fight. They didn't stop that fight. I beat the shit out of this dude. They should have stopped that fight. What? Dude, Utah is one of the last places to have a standing gate count. So a standing 8 count is the same thing as getting knocked down. So the point system is a 10-point must system per round. Winner gets 10, loser gets 9. Now, if you get knocked down, once, then it's 10-8, twice 10-7. Like you get a point taken away. And I had 3 standing 8 counts, and I barely won. I'm like, one of the scorecards, like if I wouldn't have had those, he would have beat me. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
What?
It was just a 4-round fight.
Yeah.
And I knew Willie pretty well. I knew that he was strong. I knew he had quick hands, but he gas out. He would gas out. Everything he throws, he's throwing for the win. He's throwing everything.
Yeah.
Everything he's got on every punch. You can't be a George Foreman, man. You can't do that. I knew if I waited him out, I'd get to him, and I got to him.
And you just had to wait him out.
I just had to wait him out. I had to take what he had, and little by little, every round, start working on him. And then the last round, I turned it up. I started catching real good in the 3rd round, and in the 4th round, I turned it up, and that's when I got him 3 standing 8 counts in 1 round.
Damn, you can tell when he's fucking tired, yeah.
He's dancing, dude. You got somebody that's dead like this, he got no legs.
Yeah.
So and you catch him, and when he grabs you, and he's not really grabbing you. He should be grabbing you. He's barely grabbing you. I was like,
yeah.
I know he's out of it.
Damn. That's wild. So anytime, anywhere, it sounds like you fucking ended. I mean, it's just a wild career to me. It's a lot. It's eye opening, honestly, man. I mean, we have to have a part 2. We have to have a part 2 because there's so much more that I wanted to talk to you about. And no. I'm gonna hold on to this because I still want to talk about like when you sparred with Zab, what that week was like. Tyreek Robinson, that fight, being at the Blue Horizon, like that's a huge fucking venue.
You did your homework.
Yeah. And then when you won the WBU Welterweight Championship, like what was that peak like? There's so much I want to still talk to you about. There's so much I still want to talk to you, but we've gone about an hour, about a little over an hour. So we're gonna come back for part 2. There's so much, but I feel like I got to know you so much more, which is way more fucking valuable to me because I think a lot of what you said has even inspired me to further what progression I've already made. Like it helps me so much. So I just appreciate it. And I know that a lot of the folks are going to be able to take something from what you were speaking about because there's a lot to be said for someone who took so much time off. I mean, honestly, a lot of like prime years to some degree, and to put yourself back into a very violent sport and achieve some of the things that you achieved.
I think it probably prolonged my career.
Yeah.
Because my last fight, I was 37.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it no more.
You just couldn't.
My body couldn't do it no more. I was fighting with injuries for years. Because you're in the gym every day. You're not knowing when you're going to get your next call to fight again. So you got to be ready. You got to be in the gym every day. And when you have a elbow injury, you have a hand injury, you have a shoulder injury, how do you rehab that? Can't take time off. You got to just fight through it.
Yeah.
You just fight through it. So,
man, that's that shit that I'm talking about. Like overcoming the adversity piece, and we've spoke about that pretty like a ton this whole fucking time. And I feel like that's a trajectory for a fucking fighter. Is like there's a ton of. I don't even know if it's just a fighter. I think in life, I think what you said was true too. Like there's a lot of parallels with life and being a fighter, or like even whatever you're training for, like very seriously. I know that I've reached some very tall peaks in like professionally, and then very, very deep lows professionally.
I think everybody has.
Yeah, but like to fight, as we were talking about, to fight back out of those, like, I mean, it takes character, man. It takes a lot to really do that. And like that spirit that, I don't know if you're a religious person or you believe in God or whatever, but some sort of spiritual aspect of like believing that you have it inside of you, and whether it's an external being that has your back, we call it God. For me, I feel like, I mean, it might be that, but also just like that you have God in you, and so you can make it as long as you can make it like maybe like the next hour or the next fucking.
Well, think about it, man. If you are religious, we're made in God's image, right?
Right.
So God is spirit, God is everything that we are. You know, we have everything that God has in a sense if we're made in his own likeness. And so obviously he put him in us for that fighting spirit. He knew all of us are going to have our dark times, going to have our ups and downs. And me going through what I've gone through in life, I never get too high, bro. I never get too high on things because I know eventually, you know, it's going to start storming. It always does, right? But I know during the storm that the sun's going to come out eventually. You just got to kind of wait it out.
You just gotta wait it out. Just wait it out a little bit.
That's just life, though. I try to educate my kids like that, because they're going through their own issues, you know, and just tell them that you're gonna go going through this your entire life. You know, don't give up. Don't give into it. You know, overcome it. You know, once you overcome it, then you'll accept, you know, the good and bad. Like I said, I never get too high, man. I always stay pretty much even kill all the time.
Damn. I mean, I think a lot of us could take from that. And I also, I as you were saying that, man, I'm thinking like, man, I do get pretty high on things. Like I fucking get super stoked about some shit and then have just get bummed out, you know? Yeah. I'm like, fuck, man, it's fucking not as cool as it was last week, you know?
So I continue to fight, man. Every day's a fight. Everybody. I don't mean, like I said, I don't know what everybody's going through. Everybody has their own stuff they're going through, you know, but every day's a fight, bro.
Every day's a fight. Fucking get through it and get through the rounds. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Man, you fucking got this, yo. You got this. I got this. Fucking Chris got this. I want to give you a shirt, bro, a Mike Masters shirt. You've been a huge supporter for so long, and I appreciate you a ton. And our next event's in February.
Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming by.
And it's the 17th, right?
The 19th.
19th. I'll be there.
Yeah. And then the next big battle's in March on we're looking at the 18th. But I got to get the venue locked in hopefully by the end of this week. That's the goal. Either way, I really appreciate you. Just you've always been super supportive and to learn a lot more. And I still have so much I want to talk to you about. To tell a lot of folks, you know the reason why, and I got to say this, you know the reason why, one of the big reasons why I wanted to make this happen is because of Mike, because he was like, you should get the champ on, you should get Chris on, because he has so much to fucking offer. And I totally fucking agreed with him. This was probably a year ago or so. And so, and every single time that when us three would get together, we would be fucking rambunctious little motherfuckers, you know? So I was like, why haven't I ever just fucking got you on? Because I've always wanted to know more, and man, we've just scratched the surface.
We talked about that at Mike's house.
We did. I know we did.
A couple years ago.
I know.
That was before your album was coming out.
Yes. We talked so long, and I wish I had recorded even just a little bit of that, but it doesn't matter because I retained a lot of it. But I just remember being so involved in that conversation of listening to you. That's why a lot of the stuff that you were talking about I remember, but there's a lot of different things that I don't, like that Keith Thurman thing. Obviously I don't remember. I know you didn't talk about that, so that's just a wild experience. But in general, just like the coming up and being where you're at, and this journey, man, like to be 37, I'm 37 right now. So like thinking about what I'm doing in my life professionally with music, or even with Mike Masters, or the transition I'm going to be making to like promoter type of thing, you know, like something different. I don't know if I don't know. I'm in a very different place in my life right now. So, I just thank Mike for, putting in my ear to fucking talk to you on a different level than just like us sitting around having a drink, because even still, that's very fucking valuable. But I wanted people to I wanted to capture it, because I wanted people to fucking see that you're fucking got so much to really offer just through a lot of the wisdom that you got to push through. So I hope you guys appreciated it. Chris Fernandez, WBU Welterweight champion. What weight was that at? 140?
147.
147. Yeah. Okay. Yo, man, the fucking champ. Like, I'm gonna put up some clips and shit, but check out his YouTube. There's for some older stuff. I don't even know if you know about like the Kid Kayo YouTube.
Oh, my channel on there.
Yeah. Just Kid Kayo, Kayo. We didn't even talk about like the origins of Kid Kayo, but there's gonna be a part 2. I promise. You have to come back for a part 2. Please come back for a part 2.
Of course.
Okay, we're gonna do a part 2. Look at this, people. I barely even went through a fucking quarter of that because of and we're at like an hour and 15 minutes. Normally this is just about an hour, but I couldn't help myself. I kept looking at it. I was like, oh my god, there's not going to be any way to get through it. Short Story Bingo, episode 5. Is there? What about any socials? Do you even care about any of that shit? No. Okay.
I don't want nobody spying on me.
And we're out, man. So thank you very much, and fucking like, subscribe, all that shit. It's free. It beats the algorithm, and I really appreciate it. So, Short Story Bingo, Our Stories, episode 7. And that's it.
Having me, brother.
Thank you, dog. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's fucking do it again.
Spare fingers. Cheers.